There is absolutely no arguing at this juncture that Wuthering Waves is one of, if not the highest quality gacha game out there, with some of the best quality action combat, some of the best character models, some of the best storytelling as of the 2.x series. But what does a future hold? That's what we're going over today. There was an interview held with Solon Lee, the CEO of Kuro Games himself. Kuro now has grown to over 2,000 people. Hearing Solon say this finally made Grape the author realize Kuro is no longer the rising rookie that it once was. In the past, when we talked about this company, we were mostly telling the story of how a small team rose to prominence. Founded in 2014, Kuro's first product was the 2D anime style ballistic shooting RPG Twin Tail Battleground. I've actually never played this. This debut not only helped Kuro accumulate talent, technology, and operational experience, but also laid the groundwork for their later hit Punishing Gray Raven, which wasn't a hit at the time, but ultimately ended up becoming one. And oh my god, that Bianca skin is just flawless. Holy. PGR began development in 2017. To outsiders, it looked like Kuro was making a giant leap from 2D to full 3D action gameplay. But according to Kuro's CEO and producer Solon Lee, the team initially had no intention of making a pure action game. Oh my god, imagine what the genre would be if Kuro never made Punishing Gray Raven. I can't even. They simply want to create an anime game with a 3D sense of immersion. However, during testing, they discovered that to make the core gameplay fully coherent and truly immersive, players had to directly control the characters. This realization gradually transformed PGR into a 3D action title. PGR's success challenged the industry stereotype of small teams. And now, with the success of Expedition 33, it's become apparent that small teams are capable of doing what big teams cannot do, because they actually have genuine passion and want to innovate in a genre that has otherwise grown stagnant and complacent with the kinds of games that they push out. It once hit top 3 on the iOS games grossing chart and has been operating smoothly for 6 years, making millions of dollars every single month. More importantly, PGR validated Kuro's corporate motto: challenge is greatness. Constantly trying to exceed expectations became baked into the team's development philosophy. The talent, the assets, the technical experience from PGR later fueled the launch of the open-world action game Wuthering Waves, Kuro's expansion with WuWa. Before and after WuWa's release, Kuro entered a rapid expansion phase. Even during WuWa's development, the project team exceeded 500 people. That is actually genuinely insane. 500 people for WuWa, and now they have over 2,000 people. No doubt working on the other 2 projects that I've covered recently. But that still wasn't enough for such a large-scale game. Solon revealed that the flight system in version 2.0 alone took a full year to make, and the entire 2.0 update had been in preparation since the beta stages of the game. That is insane. Genuinely incredible. They even debated whether to reallocate resources to improve the pre-2.0 versions. I would love that. If you want to go ahead and go back through the 1.x series to make the game better, by all means. In the end, version 2.0 and the updates that followed delivered more content than players expected, breaking WuWa's single-day revenue records and topping iOS gross rankings, proving that Kuro's long-term heavy investment approach was correct. I mean, yeah. And then again, with the release of Cardathia, just a couple versions later, they broke records again. Phenomenal Cardathia and fleur-de-lis imagery, by the way. Now that WuWa has entered a stable growth phase, Kuro has officially embraced a multi-product parallel develop model. PGR launched its PC version, restarted its story second loop, and is preparing for global same version synchronization. WuWa is about to release a major new character, Augustin Yuno, with its finale of the Rinascita chapter approaching. New projects Nami and Sun have been revealed. Clearly, Small Rising Team is no longer the right label for Kuro, and I hope here that they're not biting off more than they can chew and are taking on too many projects. But I have faith in Kuro, so the Kuro Fest, a glimpse of the future. This year's Kuro Fest hinted at their next steps. First, as we've covered before, the fest was huge, proving Kuro's ability to coordinate resources across teams and manage multiple IPs at once, both key to building their brand and launching future titles. Second, many aspects of the event had cross-circle appeal, reaching beyond the core player base. For example, Homecoming Voyage FOS Anthem, the graduation song of the protagonist schooling PGR, first introduced in the game's 3.5-year anniversary, deeply connects PGR with its players. Live performances always get them to sing along, and even non-players are moved enough to learn more about the game. Running for Your Life, Lupa's character song in WuWa has become hugely popular. Honestly, everything since the fleur-de-lis fight has become incredibly popular. Turning their entire venue red during its first live performance is actually sick. Online, it went viral beyond gaming circles, even becoming adopted by Valorant players as a theme for competition. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. These intended and unintended boundary-breaking cases show that Kuro can produce content that crosses circles and even transcends the gaming medium. Most importantly, Kuro is committed to building its brand and values. The fast Solon's line "Across Mountains, Witness Better Things" was both a promise to players and his reflection on Kuro's 11-year journey. It's about growth mindset. Kuro is climbing mountains and getting better, delivering not just products, but an emotion and a set of values. And there he is on stage, looking about as awkward as ever. But I mean, that's fine. We're all kind of weird and awkward. Solon often used the word sexy during our talk, by which he means Kuro's new goal is not just to grow bigger, which you can actually is very easy to do with something that is sexy, but to make works that are unique, attractive, charismatic, and maybe even industry changing. Fuck yeah. Of course, the next stage brings new challenges, making IPs cross circles, training more top-tier talent, reimagining agile and productive while avoiding big company syndrome that Hoyo no doubt experiences. Many more mountains remain to be climbed. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. The interview. Why did you decide to host such a high-spec fest this year? To which Solon Lee said, "Last year, PGR's Tea Party left me deeply moved. I felt we needed to give players an even better offline experience. On impulse, I got on stage and told them I'd bring the next best experience possible, but what does best mean? We first had to lock in a better offline event on the schedule. By then, WuWa had already launched, so we decided to combine both games into one Grand Fest, one of Kuro's biggest goals for the year. After more than a year of preparation, it's finally here. It might still have its flaws, but I believe everyone, especially players, can feel the progress that we've made. And a lot of people were very happy with how this ultimately turned out. Why has Kuro been investing so much in offline events in recent years? Because it larger, grander appeal to players, that's why. We have a shared understanding. Offline events are essentially an extension of game content that make the games tangible in the real world. We'll keep doing this, aiming to give players a rich crossover between online and offline, not just formulaic updates. Next year, we'll hold a large-scale offline event again. Oh, sick, dude. Kuro, please. Y'all have sponsored me so many times for videos. Fly me out to Kuro Fest. Seriously. But the format will depend on our fest review. I'm sure there'll be something fresh. Is your confidence in offline investment related to the state of your products? Yes, PGR just launched its PC version, completed a Devil May Cry 5 collab. For its 6th anniversary, we'll implement global same version sync, which is a fantastic idea. This will open up fresh possibilities for release strategy and game content, and our team already has lots of new ideas. WuWa, is a young product entering its 2nd year, is in a rapid growth phase. So they note here that it's still rapidly growing, which is really good to hear. We've already mapped out 4 to 5 years of long-term plans for it. As long as we keep generating ideas and making them real, we're bound to create moments that strike players and surpass their expectations. Perfect. Why did you dare to greenlight a 3D action project like PGR back then? Back during the Twin Tail Battleground, we lacked the long-term ops experience and ecosystem maintenance skills. Plus, our 3D skills and preferred gameplay weren't compatible with the Coco's engine. This, combined with the tech, talent, and ops experience from Twin Tails, pushed us to try 3D, leading to PGR's greenlight. Initially, we didn't aim for an action game. 3D alone was already a huge leap. Our concept was a 3D immersive game using innovative match 3 mechanics for character actions. But testing showed that without letting players directly control the action, immersion didn't feel complete. So we added normal attacks, dodges. Step by step, PGR became more action until we finally decided internally to commit fully. That is when the goal no longer felt far away. PGR is still lively in its 6th year. What is its core strength? We want it to run for 10 plus years. Its competitive edges are post-apocalyptic sci-fi theme gives wide long-term narrative room for stories about despair and hope, unique characters and monster designs, etc. Core gameplay match 3 plus combat kept it unique for years. Then we're adding new control modes, IP ecosystem leveraging 6 years of accumulated content to spark player emotion. This is what Tower Fantasy wishes they could do. How does Homecoming Voyage FOS Anthem ignite emotions? First, the road must be long enough. By the time we made it, players and the game shared a long journey. The song fits the game's graduation story arc while reflecting real-life player experiences. May every child returning to Earth be safe. It blends despair with hope, inspiring players not just to recall game scenes, but also to draw energy from their own lives. This reflects Kuro's philosophy. Beyond fun gameplay and great stories, we want to give players strength, guidance, and positive values. Both PGR and WuWa have some heavy, even tragic stories, which we're just getting started with in WuWa, by the way. We want depth. Characters' struggles must make sense so that the payoff is sexy and moving. Players of these games want coherent worlds, even if the journey is sad. Watering it down into formulaic happy endings risks making the IP unappealing. Why switch to Unreal Engine for WuWa? After PGR's challenges, we still craved breakthroughs. To compete in the market, we needed barriers, early entry into cutting-edge genres. Also, the talent competition was fierce. To attract top-tier talent in Guangzhou, we had to offer sexy projects in tech. Looking back, choosing 3D open world and Unreal Engine was the right, if hard, path. And honestly, given how good the game looks, it definitely was the right path. WuWa's production cycles seem long. Yes, character production far exceeded our initial forecasts. We had to choose stick to the old cycle or aim for market-surpassing quality. We chose the latter, investing more people and time, and it has done nothing but become an overwhelming success, so good on them for choosing that. After WuWa 2.0, things seemed to accelerate, they really did. 2.0 had been in preparation even before launch, but testing and feedback led us to rework and optimize it over about 1.5 years. The faster iteration since then reflects improved processes and understanding of what attracts players. For long-term operation, you must deliver beyond expectations. How do you maintain quality while running high output? The best method is shared values and like-minded people. Process optimization alone cannot replace team synergy. Why focus on 3 minutes of high-quality experience? It's intuitive. Even if players only log in for 3 minutes a day, those 3 minutes should feel great. This builds lasting affection and sustains a game for 5, 10, or even 20 years, which again is something that Tower Fantasy or touting they will do, but is unlikely to actually be reality. How do you define the future development direction of Wuthering Waves? I just mentioned that to make games that exceed user expectations. I think this is the goal that WuWa is currently pursuing. WuWa is a game that continues to change. We hope that it will iterate in a higher quality direction as the time passes. Will WuWa's quality direction include GTA-like elements? Oh, that's an interesting question. Yes, though perhaps not as people imagine. Its world will expand into more sci-fi, modern, and urban themes. Timing is a question, so okay, and they confirmed that flight is not going to be present in future versions, so 3.0, 4.0, etc., but they're going to introduce other world traversal methods, so maybe with the urban themes, you might see something like driving, actual driving mounts. That'd be really, really cool. Dude, I feel like they're gonna try and tackle the Ananta NTE thing before potentially Ananta and NTE fully release. Oh god. From PGR to WuWa, why always take the hard road? Every test made them feel like entirely new games, not by intent, but because continual feedback and iteration pulled us ever closer to our goals. Positive feedback from improvement fuels our logic. To do it well, face a challenge head on. Fuck yeah. Challenges also bring pressure. How do you keep morale? If challenges vanish, we'd be more anxious. Challenges bring growth, both in player validation and in upgraded skills. That's more valuable than any management optimization. Our motto, coined by staff, is love players, love the team, love the game. And honestly, that shows. Paired with fair rewards like company-wide bonuses during WuWa's milestones, this sustained competitive. I actually remember hearing about the company-wide bonuses during WuWa's, I think it was either the 1.0 launch or the 2.0 launch. I think it was the 2.0 launch. What's Kuro's team size now? Over 2,000. Most on live products, a small portion on new titles. So they're not focusing too much on the new games yet. What is Nami's status? Early to mid development, not yet ready for public release. We wanted to break our comfort zone in action games so exciting that players scream, distinct from our past work. So early to mid development. That means 25 to 50% of the way there. Holy shit. Okay. After 11 years, how would you define Kuro's temperament? We don't like boxing ourselves in. Our culture is challenge is greatness. We want players to feel Kuro is a growing company climbing mountains and witnessing better. Feels like players get that, like how you kept your fest promise. That is a mutual understanding. Honestly, this was a phenomenal interview. Holy crap, this showed so much, revealed so many things. Project Nami, the future of WuWa, specifically being the urban setting, the more sci-fi modern themes. That's all really cool. I can't wait to ultimately see how this pans out. I love WuWa. It's one of my 3 favorite gacha games of all time, but oh my god, this right here is going to be something special. WuWa already is. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.